Hi, I'm Mark Gibbs with the Great Outdoors Nursery in Austin, Texas. And today I want to talk about one of the most clever little cheater things you can do for houseplants. And actually it even amps the capacity for ease of maintenance. So we're going to talk about staging plants. A lot of folks want to buy a houseplant and they want to go ahead and plant it directly in the container. And there's nothing wrong with that. You'll have to make sure you've got proper drainage, etc., etc. A good airflow, right soils, good watering schedule, things like that. But staging a plant just means you're going to drop it in the container and be ready to go with a nice top dress. And the things you're going to need are some saucers, and I'll show you why I've got two here in a second. You'll need some sort of top dress. When it comes to top dress, think outside the box. This is just basic Spanish moss, but we have all sorts of varieties. This is a sample pack, so you can see how many different options that we sell that you can buy for a different top dress. And this comes down to a seasonal thing. Say you want to change something out, you could put a different top dress in there and it looks like a completely different planting. So I want to just go over why I've got two saucers here. When we drop a 6-inch down in a container like this, you can see it gets swallowed up a little bit. So how do we fix that in an easy, simple way? I'm going to pull this guy back out of here without destroying it. I'm going to take this bowl, deep bowl saucer. I'm going to flip it upside down in the pot. This is our regular saucer to maintain for water purposes. And I'm going to set this guy back down in there. Now, obviously, this is a pretty full plant, so you can't really see the edge of the pot. But some people don't even want to know that it's there. So the best little beautiful trick you can do is get out some moss and come around the edges and tuck it in on the lip of that pot. So you're covering up the edge of that pot. Two things that happen here. It just looks a little more bumped up. And this doesn't have to be in here all perfect. It's nice to have a few stragglers sticking out of the container. It just looks a little less perfecto, a little bit more organic. I'm just going to surround the trim of the container with that moss. Now, when it comes to watering, you can water in here. You know the saucer is going to capture the water. If you're one of those folks that likes to take it out and give it a really good bath, it makes it so much more convenient. You're not schlepping around the pot. If something happens with the plant itself and it goes into some sort of decline, you're not dealing with all that soil and all that mess trying to get it out of the container and what are you going to put in there and is the soil still safe and all those kind of things. This is just an easy way to do plant maintenance and also changing up your look. And the reason I bring changing up the look, say you've got, this is a pretty medium to low light plant. But say you've got some higher light plants that may be in an area that's not so high light, but you've got another spot where you've got high light. Well, you can switch those plants from container to container to make sure your highlight guys are getting that little bit of sunlight they need on a regular basis without having to move all of the pots to get that done. It's just a clever way to get around that. Secondarily, say you've got an event coming up and you want to have something a little bit more exotic going on. Well, you could come in with a beautiful anthurium, drop this guy down in there, and bam, you've got a great, that's just a stunning holiday presentation. You can do Christmas cactus, you can do all sorts of things. And again, just a little bit of a top dress of the moss around the top lip of the container. And I might use, maybe a splashier green pop moss for something like this for a seasonal look, just to give some more contrast with the container. And look, I'm done. It's just a very, very nice, unique way. And people are like, hey, where'd that come from? Because you've already had the same plant in here for however long that they've seen. And all of a sudden, boom, you've got an easy change out. It's another nice way for a summer look is to do some of the bromeliads for a change out. This makes a beautiful, beautiful little contrast. Great color on this guy. They come in all sorts of spikes. There are some beautiful reds that would look great with this container as well for a seasonal look. You could put some cyclamen in here for a seasonal look. And again, I'm just going to come around, tuck in this moss. And this applies to pretty much any size container. And what happens is on the larger sizes of containers, you may have a pretty wide gap in here. And people are like, oh, the top dress is going to fall down in between the seams. So a nice easy thing you can do is just get some bubble wrap and put it around those edges inside the container. It'll kind of support your initial stage plant, but it'll give you a rise inside the lip of the container where you can put your top dress material and it won't fall down into those seams. You can also use foam like you would use in small pillows or couch pillows or something. You can get that from the hobby stores. You can make a trim around the inside of the lip, matching up the size of the container. It'll fill in that gap. And then the foam again gives it a little bit of security if it's a bigger plant on a pedestal or something, and then your top dress doesn't disappear. That also kind of opens up your options on top dress. If you wanted to use gravel or something like that that's a little bit more tight and a little bit shinier in presentation, it does help prevent a lot of that stuff from falling all over the place. So if you have questions on staging, if you need help picking plants, know the right size, the containers, the saucers, we've got all those goodies for you. The greenhouse is packed and we'd love to help you out.